introduce yourself and what your job is?
So my name is Daniel Omasola Morgan, and I am a OLE design engineer at SPL Powerlines. Um, I graduated university with a mechanical engineering degree in 2017 at University of Birmingham, and then I've been working for over 3 years now in OLE rail design.
Brilliant. What activities are involved in your job? What does your day-to-day job look like?
So if you imagine an architect designing a building, um, railway design engineers design the railway, which would allow a construction team to be able to build it. So I specifically work in the overhead lines that go above the tracks that powers the trains. Um, and what I will do is I will create designs, usually on a computer with certain software, specific softwares, um, and we create sort of almost like schematics, like little pieces of papers that will show the construction team how to build and assemble what we want it all to look like.
Brilliant. Sounds really interesting. So what made you go into that particular job role after your engineering degree?
So after graduating, I went to several interviews, and in mechanical engineering specifically, there are a few sort of fields that you can get into. Main ones would be sort of manufacturing, where you'll be on a shop floor, um, and then there are more design fields, which will be more office based. And I did an interview at a manufacturing plant. They did headlights for sort of the high-end sports cars. But I didn't really think that that would necessarily fit my sort of style of working and what I wanted to do. And I felt like an office job, which some people might see as boring, where I was able to utilize all the skills I'd learned at university, as well as my own sort of creativity, um, to be able to really enjoy my job. And that's sort of how I got into it. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. And you've kind of alluded to this a little bit already, but what subjects and qualifications did you study at school? So kind of if you think about your secondary kind of journey and into your degree.
So at A levels or sixth form, I did maths, physics, and chemistry. I would say maths and physics are sort of the core of a mechanical engineering degree. Chemistry not as much, and you can be very flexible with that sort of third grade or subject. Um, and then I did a mechanical engineering degree, but you can, if you want to get into design, you can do a civil engineering degree or even an electrical uh, engineering degree, or even a maths degree could allow you to work as a design engineer.
Brilliant, thank you. And what kind of training did you have to help you develop within your role? So when you first started at the organisation, how did you kind of develop your skills and expertise?
Yeah, so it's actually really funny. So my field specifically, overhead line electrification, there is almost no formal training. It is such a niche field that a lot of it is on the job training. So what will happen is when you start, you'll know absolutely nothing, and it'll be up to the senior engineers to sort of guide you along the process, really teaching you, the details. It could easily, it's taken me nearly 4 years to even learn um, almost all the basics, and there's still so much for me to learn. So it's not um, it's not necessarily a problem if you don't know everything, because you're very slowly brought up to speed to be able to work. But then there's always so much more that you can learn, which I think is quite interesting.
Fabulous. What personal qualities do you think helped you to be successful in this role? Personal qualities and skills.
Yeah. So I would say that I'm a curious person. So I'm someone at school that used to really like to ask questions to really understand the subjects. I'm someone who I would say I like problem solving. I remember growing up, I used to like puzzles like a Sudoku or any sort of like problem solving. I would also say I'm someone that's quite creative. So I remember playing like design games growing up as well. Like I think nowadays, if you're even someone who likes a lot more of the more popular games that involve building, like even like a Minecraft or something like that, you're probably someone that's quite creative. It would probably be someone that would be interested in an engineering field. Um, and I would say someone who really likes to who really wants to learn, but also wants to have a bit of fun with it as well. Um,
Brilliant. What would you say are the key challenges of your job?
so I would say, especially because there isn't that much formal training when you start, you don't know anything, and it does. There is a bit of you needing to sort of step up and nudge the senior engineers to help you with something or to teach you something. Everyone's usually incredibly busy, and sometimes it feels like you're just sitting there either waiting for work or waiting for someone to assist you because you don't necessarily know how to do the specific task. um, and it can sometimes be a bit discouraging if you're someone that likes to constantly be doing things and you don't like to just wait around and do absolutely nothing.
Brilliant. And the other side of the coin is what would you say were the key rewards to your job?
So I would say that after the whole process of waiting and for a senior engineer to get to you and you're finally able to do the task, and when you finish the task, especially if you've done it quite well, you get a lot of praise. You get a lot of rewards, such as obviously pay, but even just the gratification of being able to design something and then see it. You can see it getting built, or you can visit the site later because you've actually designed something that will exist in real time, such as like an architect who would design a building and then be able to see it later. Designing the railway, you'll be able to see the contributions and feel like you've actually contributed to something that exists in society, which is quite interesting. Yeah.
Brilliant. What advice would you give to a young person thinking of going into a career like yours?
I would say that at school, definitely looking at trying to learn more and further sort of your maths and physics skills. While when you actually get into industry, you'll find that you don't actually do as much maths. Um, you'll find that after a few years in industry, without sort of honing those skills and really understanding the fundamentals of engineering and maths, you forget it all entirely. And then when you actually have to use maths, you've already forgotten the skill, you've lost the skill. So really understanding those fundamentals at school really sets you up to have a good sort of career in engineering.
Brilliant. And then the last question. So after all the time that you've been doing your job, what is it about the job that still gets you out of bed in the morning?
I think it's that after you ask all those questions and you get a really good understanding of what you're doing, it actually becomes quite easy, and it becomes quite rewarding when you're able to um, piece all the things together, produce a good design, coordinate all the pieces, and get the deliverable out the door. And if you're able to get it done on time, you get massive praise, and it feels like you've done a really good job. But I really enjoy that part of my career. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time today.